Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we are looking at something truly special. If you're into focused, deep dive learning, you are absolutely in the right place. Today we're exploring a concept that maps out themes of deep resilience, unyielding faith, and the sheer raw power of personal narrative. We're going to break down how historical archetypes carry some serious weight for our modern lives. So grab your focus because we are unpacking a masterclass in inspiration today.
Every woman who walks with God has a story. Right out of the gate, that is such a powerful premise, isn't it? We aren't just looking at ancient historical footnotes here. This statement completely bridges the gap between the past and the present, emphasizing that stepping into faith inherently means stepping into a totally unique, unfolding narrative. It tells us that these stories are dynamic, living messages of resilience that are highly relevant to whatever you might be facing right now. Okay, let's dive right into this. We're looking at 6 distinct, incredibly powerful biblical women: Sarah, Hagar, Rahab, Hannah, Ruth, and Esther. And for each woman, there is a specific, distilled message that defines her legacy within the source text. What we're going to do in this explainer is break this all down. We'll explore these 6 women in pairs, comparing their unique messages to see exactly how they form a complete, practical framework for navigating life's challenges.
Section 1. Sarah and Hagar. The impossible and the unseen.
So our first pair really brings us face to face with 2 incredibly difficult, very human experiences, facing the impossible and that deep, aching pain of feeling completely unseen. First up is Sarah. Her defining message: nothing is too hard for God. Just let the absolute conviction of that statement sink in for a second. Sarah represents those times in our lives when the odds seem completely insurmountable. When you're looking at a situation, maybe it's a career hurdle, a personal crisis, or just an impossible dream, and every logical metric tells you it simply cannot happen, Sarah's message acts as a definitive strike against the word impossible. When we apply Sarah's message to our lives today, it becomes this amazing tool for facing the impossible head-on. That phrase, "nothing is too hard," applies directly to your present real-world challenges. It asks you to look at that massive wall in front of you and realize that limitations are often just matters of perspective. This isn't just passive hope, It's an active, resilient mindset that completely refuses to be intimidated by the scale of a problem.
And this brilliantly illustrates how adversity takes so many different forms. While Sarah's challenge is super external, the objectively impossible circumstance, our next figure, Hagar, totally shifts our focus to a deeply internal struggle. We're moving from the friction of an immovable obstacle to the quiet, desperate feeling of isolation, a feeling completely overlooked by the world.
Hagar's message is incredibly intimate. He sees you. He hasn't forgotten you. Unlike that bold defiance of Sarah's quote, Hagar's words are just so gentle. They speak directly to the marginalized, the isolated, and anyone who has ever felt like they've just slipped right through the cracks. The emotional shift here is profound. It's the journey from feeling entirely forgotten in a vast wilderness to the immense, grounding reassurance of being recognized and valued. So, connecting Hagar's story to our own emotional landscapes, the takeaway here is simple, but honestly, it's life-changing. You are seen and you are remembered. Yes, you. When you're doing the hard, invisible work, or when you feel like your struggles are entirely unnoticed by everyone around you, this message acts as an anchor. It completely validates your experience and reminds you that your presence and your pain actually matter.
Section 2. Rahab and Hannah. Overcoming the past and being heard.
Moving right along, if Sarah and Hagar taught us about the impossible and the unseen, Rahab and Hannah are here to talk about overcoming our history and the sheer power of voicing a plea. The energy shifts here from enduring circumstances to actively using our voices and redefining our identities. Rahab's message is just incredibly dynamic. Your past doesn't define you. God can use anyone. This single sentence completely shatters the limiting belief that a difficult history or a string of past mistakes somehow disqualifies a person from achieving their true purpose. Rahab is the ultimate proof that where you come from or what you've done does not dictate where you are going.
So what we're really taking away from Rahab is this principle of purpose over history. And it's such an active, empowering call to action. If you've ever felt held back by yesterday, by a failure, a label, or, a less than perfect background, Rahab's message is incredibly relevant for you. It insists that you are not the sum of your past chapters. You are the author of your next one, and you are fully equipped for a purpose right now.
Now, what's genuinely fascinating here is how the timelines completely shift. Rahab's narrative is all about resolving what happened in the past, putting it behind you so you can move forward. But with Hannah, bam, the focus snaps immediately right back to the present. We transition from reconciling history to addressing an urgent, right now, deeply felt need.
Hannah's message brings such profound comfort. God hears your cry, and He will answer. Just think about those moments of desperate petition in life when you are literally pouring your heart out for a breakthrough. Hannah's quote is the ultimate assurance that those raw, vulnerable moments are not just echoing into a void. It focuses entirely on the assurance of being heard exactly when it matters most.
Unpacking Hannah's words, it gives us this beautiful mini-narrative. It's that journey of moving from silent, internal suffering to actually speaking your truth, and finally, to the realization that an answer is on its way. The core lesson? Your voice absolutely matters. When you articulate your needs, your hopes, and your pain, it initiates a response. You really do not have to carry the burden in silence.
Section 3. Ruth and Esther. Endurance and the Ultimate Plan.
All right, now we arrive at our final pair of women, and man, this is where the momentum of our explainer really hits its peak. We've dealt with the impossible, the unseen, the past, and the present cry. Now it's all about how to keep going and how to trust the bigger picture. I just absolutely love the tenacity of Ruth's quote here. If God hasn't said it's over, it's not over. This requires a highly energetic, absolute refusal to quit. It is the literal definition of grit. When the circumstances look bleak, when the chapter seems completely finished, Ruth's message just kicks the door right back open. It's a stubborn, beautiful insistence that the final word hasn't been spoken yet.
Ruth is literally modeling the power of relentless endurance. It's the ultimate encouragement to just keep putting one foot in front of the other. For you watching this, it means that even if a project, a relationship, or a dream feels like it's at a total dead end, you have to keep pushing. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. Sometimes it's honestly just about refusing to concede the match.
And notice how beautifully this theme builds. Ruth gives us the on-the-ground perseverance, the daily grind of pushing through uncertainty. But then our final figure, Esther, zooms out and gives us a bird's-eye view of destiny. We're comparing active, daily endurance with an absolute, unwavering trust in the final outcome.
And here is Esther's completely definitive, confident statement. God's plan is perfect. It's so concise, right? But it honestly carries the most weight out of all of them. After the struggles, the cries, the endurance, and all those impossibilities, Esther lands the plane. This statement requires ultimate trust. It's a bold declaration that despite the chaos of life, there is a masterful design at work.
Bringing Esther's point home, her model suggests that trusting a perfect plan really provides the ultimate, peaceful resolution to any kind of adversity. It posits that when you truly believe the grand design is flawless, it strips away that daily anxiety. You can endure like Ruth, you can cry out like Hannah, and you can face the impossible like Sarah, all because you lean into the foundational piece that Esther represents, the idea that the plan is going to work out perfectly.
Section 4. Your divine purpose. Bringing it all together.
So, here's the crucial point. We've looked at these 6 historical archetypes, but they aren't just isolated stories. They're basically pieces of a giant puzzle. We are pivoting now from analyzing them one by one to synthesizing their combined impact. Together, they create this unified, incredibly robust framework. Let's look at all 6 truths together. 1. Nothing is too hard. 2. You are seen and not forgotten. 3. Your past doesn't define you. 4. Your cry is heard. 5. It's not over yet. And 6. The plan is perfect. When you aggregate these messages, you get a complete map for navigating life. Whether you need courage, redemption, endurance, or peace, this encapsulates a total plan for resilience.
Which brings us right back to where we started. Every woman has a story. Every single person watching this right now has a story. So the question I want to leave you with today is this. How will these 6 lessons of resilience shape your own story? As you face your next impossible mountain or your next unseen moment, which of these truths are you going to lean on? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating source material with me today. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep writing your incredible story.